Is the food on Virgin Voyages as good as everybody on YouTube says it is? Hey everybody, welcome back to another Cruise Report food and dining review. I'd like to start off by saying that food is the hardest thing to review on a cruise ship because everybody has different tastes. Everybody has different likes and dislikes. We've all grown up in different regions of the world, and we have our favorite dishes. And, you know, it's just a tough thing to review because it's all very, very subjective. We spent 5 days aboard Scarlet Lady on a Caribbean cruise. That was our 143rd cruise. We've sailed on 42 different cruise lines and 113 different ships. So we have a pretty broad background when it comes to cruise ship dining. And we've had everything from literally Michelin star level food all the way down to some food that was so bad on one ship we couldn't wait to get off the ship in port so we could go find a place to eat. So we've seen it all. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to let you know I've already done a full ship review of Scarlet Lady, and I'm going to put that up in the corner over here. So if you want to watch that video, you can click that link. And I also did a review of the Sea Terrace stateroom that we had, and I'll put all these links in the description of this video. As far as food and dining aboard Virgin Voyages, it's like most other things on Virgin. They've really scrapped the whole idea of traditional cruise ship dining, and they've made their own path. The first thing you notice is that there is no main dining room. Now, that wasn't a big deal to us because we don't normally eat in main dining anyway. We spend most of our time checking out the specialty restaurants because we usually have a limited time on the ships and we need to report on them for our blog and our website and our videos. And that brings up a good chance for me to tell you about our cruise blog because we blog every day from the ship. If you want to read about our experiences on a daily basis, see photos of what's going on, check out our blog. I'll put a link on the screen and down in the description of this video. And please don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook because we're always posting. When we're on a ship, we post throughout the day. Lots of pictures, things you won't see anywhere else. So no main dining room, and also all of your tea, sodas, juices like lemonade, fruit punch, things like that are all complimentary. They're all included. And now they are self-service in certain parts of the ship. There are machines where you can go up and get sodas, but they don't charge for soft drinks on Virgin Voyages. So rather than a traditional cruise ship buffet, Virgin has what they call the galley. And the galley is kind of a food market with multiple restaurants or stations where you can get a variety of different foods, each one with its own theme. There's actually, I think I counted 8 different restaurants or venues within the galley. And the idea, I think originally, was that you would sit at a table and you have this little flag you can raise. You can see the menus with the QR code. You can pull them up on your phone. Sometimes you can find a paper menu also. But you can basically flip up this little flag and a waiter will come to your table and take your order. And then he will bring you your food. Now, you can go up and get your own drinks. Those are self-serve. That's pretty simple. However, it kind of devolves into more or less like a buffet where people end up going up to these food stations and actually getting the food themselves. And Virgin, I guess, has tried to accommodate that because they even have signs that say, place your order here. So they expect people during certain times to just walk up and place their own order and pick up their own food. We went the opposite way in most cases. We sat down, flipped up the little flag, and placed our orders. Now, Virgin says there's 20 plus places to eat on their ships. And I think I counted maybe 23, 24, somewhere in that range. And obviously, we were only on the ship for 5 days, so there's no way we were going to have time to eat in all these different venues. So let me get back to the galley and tell you the places that we did not get a chance to try. And then I'll go through and tell you about the places we did try, and I'll give you a little bit of how we rate them. We did not get to try Noodle Around, and that is like their Asian noodle bar, which I would have loved to have tried because I love Asian noodles. The second one was the Bento Baby, and this is where they put bento boxes of sushi out for you just kind of come up and grab and go. They also have another section of grab and go items, but the Bento Baby is kind of a grab and go sushi place. Did not get a chance to try that. And the Daily Mix is a place where I think they kind of make salads for you. It's like a salad bar, but they make it for you. And one nice thing about the galley I should mention right up front is that all of the food, whether you go pick it up or not, or whether they bring it to your table, all of the food is plated by crew members. There is none of this reaching up and grabbing tongs and 1,000 or 2,000 other people touching the same utensils to get their food. So this is a much, much more sanitary, clean way of delivering food in a buffet-like experience. Now for the places we did have an opportunity to try. One day I did try breakfast at Diner and Dash, and Diner and Dash has all-day breakfast. And I believe at lunch and dinner they have some other items that they change, rotate. You kind of have to go up and see what they have. It looked to me like at lunchtime they were adding some new items in this area, but they have breakfast all day, every day, and it was very good. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Hot off the press is kind of their panini sandwich area where you can get, and all of these things are pretty much made to order. It's not like they have a lot of stuff pre-made like you would find on a lot of cruise ships. One thing they did have pre-made at Hot Off the Press was avocado toast, and it was the best avocado toast I've ever had. I'm going to give Hot Off the Press 4.5 out of 5. So I was very anxious to try the burger bar. If you follow this channel, you know one of the things I do on every cruise is I test their cheeseburger. You don't really want gourmet food every single day for lunch. So I was anxious to try the cheeseburger. Now, up until I went on Virgin Voyages, it was pretty much common knowledge that Guy's Burger Joint on Carnival ships has the best cheeseburger at sea. I would still say that's true. However, I ordered the cheeseburger on Scarlet Lady, and I'm here to tell you it's a very close second. It was an excellent cheeseburger. The bun was soft. The meat was good. It was perfectly cooked medium, which is the way I like it. It had a very good, nice slice of cheese. I like the fact that they put all the condiments on the table, like mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, and you get to dress it yourself. The burger, I would say, is a very close second to Guy's Burger Joint. Some people probably would say it's even better. It was very good. Now, the highlight of the burger bar, though, was the French fries. These are the best French fries we've ever had, not just on a cruise ship, but maybe anywhere. Their French fries are exceptional. They're hot, they're crisp. We had them in 2 or 3 different venues around the ship, and they're all kind of the same recipe. Only one time did we get them when they weren't hot. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But everywhere in the galley, at least when we got the fries, they were always hot and fresh and delicious. Very, very good French fries. Unfortunately, they don't have onion rings. I suspect if they did, they would be very good. Another 4.5 out of 5 is Let's Taco About It. Now, this is their taco bar where they make soft tacos, and they are very good. They have a variety of different tacos they make. We had this the very first day when we got on board. We went up to the galley to check it out, and we weren't real super hungry, and we had a big dinner plan that night. So we just got a couple of tacos, and they're small, so they're kind of snack size. You can get as many as you want, obviously, but we did try those, and very good. 4.5 out of 5 at Let's Taco About It. And then the last venue I'm going to talk about is the Sweet Side. And the Sweet Side is their dessert bar. They have a variety of very, very beautiful desserts. Everything we tried was good. I'm not a big dessert eater. Ricky is more the sweets person. She tried the cookies. She had some of their fruit. I think they have fresh fruit there. And as well as a couple of the little desserts. All the desserts we had on the ship were very good. 4.5 out of 5 for the Sweet Side. So rather than a main dining room, they have 5 specialty restaurants on Scarlet Lady and all the Virgin ships, and each with its own theme. Now, all these specialty restaurants are included in your cruise fare. In fact, all of the food, all of the restaurants are included in your cruise fare. There's only a couple of exceptions where you might have to pay for something. I'll cover that as they come up. Before I get into these specialty restaurants and what our ratings are for these restaurants, there are some other venues on the ship that have, I would say, snacks and small items that you can eat throughout the cruise. Maybe you're a little hungry in the afternoon, you want to grab something before dinner. So let's talk about those. Once again, I'm going to tell you about the ones I did not get a chance to try first, and then I'll go through the ones we tried and give you my ratings. On deck 16 forward is the Sun Club Cafe. We just stumbled across this place. We didn't even know it was on the ship. We were just walking around all the decks doing a little investigating, and we came upon it, and it was closed when we were up there. But this place has little bao buns and different Asian style dishes. I would have loved to have tried that too, because I love those little bao buns. But maybe on the next Virgin trip, I'll be able to give that a try. Now that I know it's there, I'll definitely give it a try. Now, just forward of Sun Club Cafe is a kind of a private area for the rock stars, VIPs, mega rock stars called Richard's Rooftop. It's a private area where you can lounge around. They have some hot tubs up there, and you just kind of get away from the crowd. So they do have a bar menu up there with some different snack items, and that's another place you can get something to eat. There's food almost everywhere on the ship, to be honest with you. The social club on deck 7 midship is an area where they have games like air hockey and the little shuffleboard games. There's an arcade nearby, and they actually have a bar and a little restaurant in there where you can order chicken wings and light snacks, things like that. Did not get a chance to try it. Definitely will on our next visit. The room service on Virgin is referred to as Ship Eats, and you can order this over the app on your phone, or in your stateroom there's a tablet you can use to place an order. And we did not try room service on this cruise, but they have a pretty nice menu. It's actually a pretty extensive menu. Now, there is a charge for room service. There's a $7 service fee, but there is a catch, or there's a caveat, I should say, and that is if you order something that is a pay item, such as a drink, or say in the morning for breakfast you want a specialty coffee, maybe it's a $5 or $6 coffee drink, then they waive the delivery fee for the room service. So remember that when you get room service, always order something. If it's in the evening, maybe order a glass of champagne or something, and then you won't have to pay for the room service. The other caveat, or the other exception, is if you're in one of the Rockstar suites or the Mega Rockstar suites, you do not have to pay for room service. So the very first place we tried anything to eat on Scarlet Lady was the dock. That's one of the very first places we went after we dropped our luggage in our stateroom. And they do have a menu there. It's kind of a meze type menu with some little skewers of meat, I think steak and shrimp. and they have some other dishes that they offer out there. And we found it to be, I thought it was very good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's the very first place we ate. The only reason I wouldn't give it a higher rating is because we got some skewers that were kind of cold. They weren't really hot, but they were very good. They just weren't hot. Now, if you go indoors from the dock, you're in the dock house, which is on deck 7 aft, and they have a menu there too. I believe it's the same menu that they have at the dock, so you can order food either in the dock or the dock house. The Grounds Club on deck 7 midship is their coffee shop, internet cafe, I guess I call it, because it's not really an internet cafe. They don't have computers there, but they do have a very nice work table, and I would take my laptop there every morning. I would get my cup of Americano, which I believe was $4, which is very reasonable. And here's a little tip. I found out the large Americano is the same price as the small. So after the first time I ordered, I learned that, and I just started ordering the large. Very reasonable price and very good coffee. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. Now, while it's not technically a restaurant, they do have pastries there in the morning. I believe in the afternoon too, they have sweets. Very good. I did get an almond croissant one day and try that. I also got some banana walnut bread for Ricky and took it back to the room, as well as a pineapple Danish. Their pastries were very, very good. So technically it is a place to eat. And I'm going to give the Grounds Club 5 out of 5. I think it's one of my favorite coffee shops on any cruise ship. They also have a Grounds Club 2 up in the galley. So if you want a coffee drink, a specialty coffee, while you're eating in the galley, they have one there too. A little bit smaller, but they also have the baristas there that can make any of your specialty coffee drinks. So you can't talk about dining on a cruise ship unless you talk about the pizza. And I already told you about the burger. And to me, a pizza is also an important part of cruising, because who doesn't like a slice of pizza every day or two just to get you through the day? So I actually waited until the very last day before I tried the Pizza Place, which is their pizza restaurant. Up until this cruise, my favorite cruise ship pizza would have to be Spaghetti on Silversea's newer ships. They have their own pizza restaurant. It's an Italian cruise line, so obviously you expect it to have good pizza. So I was anxious to try the Pizza Place. So unlike some of the other places, you don't go up and get a pizza by the slice like you do on Carnival or on Princess. They actually make you a pizza. So you place your order and they make it to order, and you can watch them make the pizza, watch them bake it in the oven right next to you. It took about 10 minutes. I ordered a pepperoni pizza, and I've got to say it is one of the better pizzas I've ever had on a cruise ship. Very, very good. The crust was very good. It was crisp, but not overly crisp. Very chewy crust around the edge. Cheese sauce was good. Pepperoni was good. I'm going to say it's a close second place to Spaghetti on Silversea. It's not quite at that level, but it's getting there. And that's a high praise, because Spaghetti has extremely good pizza. I would say this is it's definitely a step up from Carnival or Princess, and a huge step up from Celebrity. So Pizza Place, very good. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. And I'm also going to give, right next door to the Pizza Place, I'm going to give 4.5 out of 5 to Lick Me Till I Scream, which is their little ice cream bar. Very good ice cream. It tastes more like gelato to me. It was kind of soft. The texture, very soft and creamy. I thought it was delicious. They have cones, they have cups, they have a few other little things, sorbets and things. Very, very good. So make sure you give that a try as well. One of the few dining venues that you do pay for is if you want afternoon tea. And I believe they do this in the Sip Lounge on deck 7. And so we did not go to afternoon tea. We had too much to eat as it was. Obviously, we need to go on a longer Virgin cruise, maybe 7 or 8 days, so we have more time to experience these different venues in these different dining experiences. They also have a brunch at the Wake we'd like to try. I'll talk about that in a minute. Afternoon tea, I think it's like $19 a person or $29 if you get a glass of champagne, something like that. But I've seen it on YouTube on other channels and it looks amazing. It looks very well worth the price. So if you love afternoon tea, they do offer it. We just didn't get a chance to try it on this trip. So now let's talk about the specialty restaurants. We ate at every one of the 5 restaurants. I'm going to start with our least favorite first, and then I'm going to work our way up through what we thought were the better experiences. Our least favorite experience, surprisingly for me, was at the Wake. We ate there on the very last night of the cruise. We made a reservation for 7 o'clock in the evening. And we got there right at 7 o'clock, and it was packed. We had to wait about 30 minutes to get our table. But they did, to their credit, they did bring us a glass of sparkling wine to enjoy while we waited, complimentary. That was a nice touch. We appreciated that. The Wake, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. And like I say, I was very surprised because I've read and seen on YouTube nothing but good things about the Wake. I think we hit it on a bad night. First, let me tell you about the bread. The bread they bring you is delicious. It's one of the best loaves of bread you'll ever get. It's like a pull apart. I had the clam chowder as a starter. I had seen it on YouTube. I'm not a clam chowder guy. The presentation, the flavor, everything about the clam chowder was 5 out of 5. It was exceptional. Ricky had the hamachi crudo, which she also enjoyed. The letdown at the Wake was in the main courses and the side dishes. Ricky had the hanger steak. I'm surprised she didn't order the filet because she usually does, and I think that would have been a better choice for her. I ordered the New York strip. Now, her hanger steak, she thought it was kind of tough and not very flavorful. I tried a couple bites of it. I actually thought it was pretty good for hanger steak. Hanger steak is not the most tender cut of meat. Like I say, I think she'd have been better off with the filet. I ordered the New York strip because they did not offer a ribeye. Had they offered the ribeye, I would have tried a ribeye. My New York strip was just, it was just okay. It was cooked fine. The steak lacked flavor. It lacked seasoning. And it was just okay. It was not anywhere close to the best steak I've had on a cruise ship. However, the side items were really a letdown. We got the cream spinach and the asparagus, and both of them came to the table not even lukewarm. I mean, they were kind of cold. They looked like they'd been sitting out a while. That was disappointing, I got to tell you. Now, we also got the French fries as a side item. So we got 3 different sides: French fries, cream spinach, and asparagus. And all 3 were kind of a letdown. The French fries were similar to the ones we got at the galley, but they were not hot. They just weren't hot. Now, the Test Kitchen was our very first specialty restaurant on embarkation day we went to for dinner, and that was very good. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. I don't think it was our favorite restaurant, but it was certainly very interesting, very entertaining. It's a set menu. It's not like you have a lot of choice. I think they also offer a vegetarian option, but I didn't see it on our table. I've watched other YouTube videos where they show that there's a second menu for vegetarians. We just didn't see it at our table, and none of us were vegetarians, so it didn't matter. We started off with a mushroom dish, and it was one of the most creative dishes we've ever had. It was like a mousse in the shape of a mushroom, and it had a mushroom flavor, and it was delicious, very good. And there were also some little mushrooms around it. Excellent dish, excellent preparation, very creative, very different. Really enjoyed that. The second thing on the menu was called egg. That's all it said. And it was basically an egg yolk sitting inside of surrounded by fresh peas, green peas. That one was just okay. It wasn't my favorite dish of the meal. It was a little bland. I don't know. It just didn't do much for me or Ricky, actually. Then we had a scallop dish. Ricky does not like scallops, but I do. So I actually ate half of hers. So it was very, very good. I thought that was a good dish. Next, we did have a choice between venison or beef as our kind of our main, I guess you'd call that the main course. Everybody in our little section of the table ordered venison. Very interesting preparation and a very, very interesting, they put like a little piece of chocolate on top of the venison and then they poured like a gravy over it and it melted and it became almost like a mole. Venison was cooked perfectly. It was tender. It was delicious. Didn't have any gamey flavor at all. It was very, very well done. Excellent main course. The one course was called blue cheese, and that was really actually a blue cheese, like a sorbet. It was a palate cleanser or intermezzo, you might say, and that was very interesting. I do not like blue cheese, but this was actually good. It was very mild and refreshing and very good. Now we ended the meal with a chocolate dessert. It was to die for. It was exceptionally good. So, and like I said, all the desserts that I remember were exceptionally good on board the ship. Test kitchen, 4.5 out of 5. Next, we tried Razzle Dazzle. We ate there for lunch. We did not go there for dinner, but we did for lunch. And it's like their vegan restaurant, you might say, but they have some what they call naughty dishes that actually have some meat in them. And we had several different things there we really liked. I started the meal mushroom tartare. It really looked strange when it arrived at the table, but it was very good. I couldn't stop eating it. Very, very nice. Now, Ricky got the fried chicken sandwich because she's not a vegetarian, obviously, nor am I. I decided to try something different, step out of my comfort zone. I wanted to try the Impossible Burger because I've never had one of these. And it is a vegan-friendly hamburger. And the meat is, I don't know what it's made from. I didn't look on the menu. I didn't pay attention to it. But if you didn't know better, you'd swear you're eating meat. Now, it's not the best hamburger I've ever had. It wasn't as good as the hamburger up in the galley, but it was still good. It was a nice to try something different, and it was pleasurable. Once again, we got the French fries, which were excellent, hot, crisp, same ones like we got in the galley. Have I told you how much we like the fries? And then we ended the meal with the Razzle cake, and we split one piece. It was more than enough for 2 people, and it was amazing. Really, really good. Razzle Dazzle, 4.5 out of 5. Our second night on the cruise, we ate dinner at Extra Virgin, which is their Italian restaurant on board. The place was very busy, but we had excellent service. We got a wonderful table for 2, very nice location, great waiter. All the waiters were good throughout the ship. I mean, we did not have anything other than exceptional service in every venue. So the service levels were very, very high. I never got that feeling on Scarlet Lady like we do sometimes on other ships. I never got that feeling that they were understaffed. And I feel like the ship was pretty full with guests. So, Virgin has done a very good job with staffing, and all of the wait people that we experienced were very pleasant, great service. So we started our meal with the antipasti. It's like a charcuterie tray they bring out with some cheese and meats and things. A very good, nice start to the meal. They bring out a basket of focaccia bread with olive oil and balsamic vinegar, and I'm telling you, the focaccia was amazing. So we wanted to try a variety of things, and the waiter was up for that. He was fine with it. So we wanted to try a couple of different starters. We split the crispy artichoke starter, which was good. Ricky got the beef carpaccio, which is one of her favorite things. I decided to order the fried calamari starter and an order of the mini meatballs because I'd heard good things about that. Mini meatballs, exceptionally good. The calamari was also very good and hot, very nice with a nice aioli dip. And the artichoke was just okay. Didn't have a ton of flavor, but it was still worth trying. Very, very interesting presentation. For our main courses, Ricky got the spatchcock chicken, which she said at the time was one of the best chicken dishes she's ever had. And I tried it. It was exceptionally good. I had the pork neck, the braised pork neck, and I don't know how to describe it. It was fall apart tender. If I go back on Virgin Voyages next week, I'd order it again. In fact, if we're on an 8-night cruise, we'd probably eat it extra virgin twice, and I'd probably order the same thing a second time. It was that good. Extra virgin gets a 5 out of 5. Probably one of the best Italian meals we've ever had on a cruise ship. Next on the list was Pink Agave, which is their Mexican restaurant on board. Now at Pink Agave, we did not have the best seat. We kind of were in a high traffic area. We had a table for two, which was nice, but there was like a pass right there where the waiters were getting food, and it was just a little bit hectic and a little crazy. But the server, our waitress, was excellent. She did a great job, and she brought us a lot of different things to try. When we couldn't make up our mind, she said, I'll just bring you some to try. So here's how I'm going to rate some of these things. Guacamole, 5 out of 5. Esquites, which is a grilled corn with aioli, 5 out of 5. Excellent. One of the best side dishes. I guess it's a side dish or a starter. One of the best things we've had. Now, we did try the chicken enchilada. I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 5. It was just okay, but it was still good. I thought the shrimp with the mole sauce was very, very good. Ricky wasn't a big fan. I don't think Ricky's a big fan of mole, but I thought it was exceptional. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. For main courses, Ricky had the pork medallions. Beautiful presentation. I thought it was delicious. She did too. I had the ribeye steak, which was covered in melted cheese. It was a very thin ribeye, and I ordered it cooked medium, and it came out perfectly cooked, which is very hard to do on a thin steak. Usually they're overcooked. Loved the melted cheese and the flavors on top. Highly recommend it. Both of our main courses I would give a 4.5 out of 5. Now, our waitress brought us two different desserts. A dulce de leche, kind of a chocolate taco with dulce de leche in the center. And then there's this, I don't know if it's a puff pastry or some kind of pastry with a cream, chantilly cream, something in between. Oh my gosh. And again, I'm not a dessert eater, but I'm sitting there scarfing down these desserts because they're so good. When you add up the food at Pink Agave, the great service we had, the good atmosphere, it's a lively atmosphere, but we just didn't have the best table. But other than that, I'm still giving Pink Agave 5 out of 5. One of the first places we'll go back to on our next Virgin cruise. Okay, last but not least is Gunbae, and that's the Korean barbecue restaurant on board. And it's hard to describe Gunbae. I guess this is Virgin's answer to the teppanyaki grills you see on a lot of the newer cruise ships, but rather than the Japanese, cook at the table thing, this is Korean barbecue, and you do not go there for a nice, quiet, romantic dinner. Gunbae is a party from the time you get there until the time you leave, and you sit in a booth with 4 or 5 people usually. We had 5 in our booth. I guess you could probably fit 6 if you tried. We just had everything. Whatever's on the menu, our waiter just brought it to the table, and he cooks it for you on this little barbecue grill in the center of the table. And everything was exceptionally good, very good. And then they have this fun drinking game they play. Everybody was having fun. It's a noisy place, lots of stuff. Everybody's yelling.
Amém!
Oh!
You have to clap twice, get the 2 fixes.
Yeah!
What's that man? It's just, I don't know how to describe it other than It was a great time. You have to go to Gun Bay if you're on a Virgin ship. 5 out of 5. So, in answer to my original question, is the food and dining on Virgin Voyages as good as all these other YouTubers say it is, or any other reviews we've read? And I guess the answer is yes. It is that good. The food was some of the best food we've ever had on any cruise ship. If you love good food, you're going to love Virgin Voyages. So definitely give it a try. If you liked this video, if you feel like we've been honest, let me know in the comments down below. If you've been on Virgin and you had different experiences than we had, please let me know in the comments down below. We read every single comment. I reply to most of them. So thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. That really helps our rankings with YouTube. And until our next Cruise Report video, smooth sailing.